that you get. False, stop dividing us. Shut the fuck up, and 7 Tony. Okay? Shut the fuck up, you stupid, brain dead, fucking delusional, naive moron. Republicans have never in their entire fucking lives ever said, we got to reach across the aisle. Okay? 27 congressional Republicans out of the 270 plus have admitted that Joe Biden is president-elect. You mean to tell me, you motherfucker, that we should be, working on uniting this country? If you're the one that's constantly talking about, we need to unite the country, we need to unite the country, and the other side is like, Democrats are the real dividers. Even in a moment where they're supposedly talking about uniting the country, they're literally claiming that Democrats are the dividers. Even in that moment, if you say, oh, no, we got to unite, then you're either doing it on purpose because you don't give a fuck when we get fucked over every single time, or you're fucking brain dead, okay? There are good Republicans like Mitt. No, that's not true. Mitt motherfucking Bain Capital Romney is not a good Republican. Mitt motherfucking Magic Underwear Romney. Mitt, I got folders full of women. Mitt, I got a fucking elevator for my cars Romney is not a good Republican, you fucking psychopath. Ask what Mitt Romney had to say about Amy COVID Barrett. Ask what he had to say about that. So what's up? Good Republican, my fucking ass, dude. You delusional little babies, dude. I think you guys have a humiliation fetish. Like, I think you're cucks, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you like to be shamed, I can shame you here, okay? I think you want to put a little fucking lock on your penis and watch your wives get fucked if this is your mentality, that there are good Republicans out there. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not kink shaming outside of the boundaries of, like, what your kink requires. But if that's your worldview and that's what you want to live with, you just got to be honest about it, okay? We will put the fucking chastity cage or whatever the fuck it's called on your penis. Okay? We will do that and we'll shame you if that's what you can get off to. If that's the only way you can get off. Unite the country, my fucking ass, dude. You stupid cucks. Why are your standards so high for that party? Can't you just be satisfied with better than average? No, because better than average is still fucking bad. You dumbass. I'm not even satisfied when Democrats are fucking conservative. Shut the fuck up, better than average. It's not even average. Republicans have never, ever in a million years been like, we got to reach across the aisle. These guys are some of the good ones. Like, that doesn't work that way. The soy is getting to you. Yeah, I should really get your mom to stop making me vegan tendies after I fuck the shit out of her, dude. Motherfucker drinks like dairy, like from a cow, and then thinks that like tofu is producing estrogen. Anyway, I recently started watching you. I've noticed you always chew on something. Nicotine gum. I think Joe won, but knowing American people, anything can go wrong. No. You unite the people of this country by recognizing the transactional nature of politics, okay? The transactional nature of campaigning. That's how you unite the people. You unite the people along the boundaries of class. You don't unite the people on on fucking their party loyalty by saying like, oh yeah, Democrats, Republicans, we got to unite and just leave it at that. No, you separate them from the Republican Party and you bring them onto your fucking team by saying, this is why they're demons. This is why we're better, albeit marginally, but this is why we're better. Okay? Empty unity messaging does not unite anyone. It just makes you look like a fucking idiot. Talk about the fact that these Republicans don't represent your fucking best interest. That's it. Like, Republicans have made this game into their only consistent way of winning elections. Wedge issues, okay? Wedge issues. What do you think wedge issues are? That divide us along party boundaries, like abortion, even though the American public is literally united on issues like this, where the overwhelming majority of American people think Roe v. Wade should be the law of the land. Doesn't matter if you're fucking pro-life. Doesn't matter. You're still pro-choice. You don't think the government should be in your business. Okay? That's a fucking wedge issue that Republicans make seem like there is any sort of fucking back and forth on. Why? Because they want to fucking divide. Abortion is not a fucking issue that most Americans have a problem with, in the sense that Americans are like fucking terrified. They lie. They say Democrats are killing babies. They're doing, post-birth abortions and shit. They fucking have to lie about it, because if they talked about the reality, everyone would be like, shut the fuck up. Are you serious? If they were like, yeah, we want to ban abortions the fucking first trimester, which is where 90% of abortions happen, with someone taking a pill and then having a heavy flow period. Like, if they were to be like, we want to ban that, everyone would be like, the fuck? What are you, psychotic? Get the fuck out of here. Better Than Average gave millions of Americans health care, but go off king, I guess. Weird champ. What the fuck are you talking about? Who gave Americans health care? What are you saying? Better Than Average gave Americans health care. Yo, I'm sick and tired. Look, elections are important, okay? Voting is important. It's not something that I've ever said is not important. I don't give a fuck. I'm not one of those like, oh, it's a bourgeois democracy, blah, 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 like anti-electoralist lefties, okay? But nothing fucking tilts me as much as the moronic babies who just got fucking involved in politics last year, who think like every fucking civil progress, every instance of civil progress and activism needs to revolve around getting people to go out to vote. Like, shut the fuck up, okay? That's not how fucking progress occurs. So shut up. John Casey's the best Republican, but I think Republicans hate him. No, John Casey's not a good person either. So no, we're not going to do that right now. Anyway. What? Have you thought about how there can be no discourse if the division between both parties are agitated by you and other radicals? So also, people are dying out in the streets and being homeless. Do you not care for these people, it seems like? Yes. I am the one with no material power whatsoever who fucking does not care about homeless people dying on the streets. Not those who have all of the power, who refuse to fucking give these people the help that they need. Great take from that chatter. Incredible. I love seeing how smooth people's brains can be. It's shiny. My eyes, like I'm having a hard time with my sight now because the light is directly shining off of your fucking smooth brain. Zero wrinkles. Let me just pass a stimulus bill right now. Oh. Okay. And this is, let me tell you something. This is not just my take, okay? This is Ezra Klein's take as well. I listen. I'll admit. Here, I'm going to fucking run an ad right now because it's the top of the hour and I forgot. It's 17 minutes. But I'm going to show you something that better describes my position on this. What the fuck is going on with this stupid fuck? I'm getting angry. Okay, I'm running the ad while I fix this fucking camera. I don't give a shit. Fuck! There you go. It worked. Just fucking hit it until it works, I guess. That's just how this shit fucking works. Technology. Anyway, God, okay. I'm just getting more and more angry by the moment. Okay. So in American politics, whenever you say like, "Oh, dude, you're advocating for a worse world or something, or like you're advocating for the division in this country," is just an immediate fucking example that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Now here's how this works. Is this live? No, it's not live. It's actually a restream right now. Welcome to the restream. Okay. In American politics currently, as it stands, because of the geopolitical interest not being as important as it once was, like conservative Democrats having a drastically different opinion on like slavery, for example, than more progressive Republicans in the North. Because all of that stuff is now because most of that has been aligned across party lines. Because so much of that has been solved, I guess, in some way, that now the two-party system has become a duopoly, where people, no matter where they are in the world, no matter where they are in the fucking world, in the country rather, they have these wedge issues that have been fucking, hit. They've basically hammered in the back of their minds that define their party loyalty. Okay, abortion, guns, religion. On the Democratic side, like protection of marginalized communities. Or I guess climate change, even though they don't really care about it that much. That sort of stuff, okay? And gun control, and also protecting abortion. So that is basically, in very reductive terms, what the two-party duopoly looks like. Now, the way that works, however, has created a system where the party not in power has every incentive to keep obstructing in contemporary U.S. politics, okay? That's why Mitch McConnell was so successful, because Mitch McConnell was able to ruin the Obama administration because they did not suffer from being obstructionist. The older Republican Party, like pre-Mitch McConnell and pre-Boehner even, used to know that they're not going to win majorities in the Congress, especially in the House. So, and sometimes they would win in the Senate, but because of their knowledge that like, hey, presidents might change, but Democrats are the ones who are always going to maintain majority because there's more Democrats, they oftentimes just worked with the Democrats. Under Mitch McConnell and Boehner before that too, they changed that strategy to obstructionism, like across the board. It was a risk, but it fucking worked. It did not matter what the administration wanted to do, whether it was the grand bargain even, whether it was literally Obama trying to cut entitlements, trying to cut Social Security, as he tried to in 2012. Republicans were like, no, we are not conceding. We are never going to concede. So this created a system that basically dictates that if you're never going to suffer when a Democrat is in office and you have the majority in the Senate, if you're never going to suffer from being obstructionist, then you should always obstruct. Because if you concede, you get nothing out of it, and it looks like the administration is doing something good. If you obstruct, then the blame is on the administration's hands. If you obstruct and if you delay processes as best as you can, you get people to get upset. Now, how do you do that? For example, one of the examples of this is the ACA. I personally believe that if Obamacare was pushed through in the least democratic capacity, Obama would not have suffered so much political capital. He would not have had to expend so much political capital because Americans universally hate delay. They hate when Congress is gridlocked. They hate when fucking Congress can't get shit done. That delay also creates an opportunity for the Republicans to just keep lying while they're delaying, keep lying about the process itself, saying like, oh, there's going to be death panels, saying that like, you know, Obama's trying to kill your grandparents. This is socialism, blah, blah, blah. So they hate it, but they happily vote for a divided government, certainly because they're fucking brain dead, but they hate it. You will not lose as much political capital if you just fucking ram the process through. So in order to do that, you have to win both the House and the Senate, or you have to change the loyalties that people have on the ground, loyalties among parties, with messaging and organizing year-round like Republicans do. That's it. How can you not really care about climate change? Americans don't. They claim that they do, but they actually don't. Do Republicans really hate delay, though? Or are they just so brain dead to not be aware that Mitch won't present bills? No, they hate delay in the sense that, like, they hate when Congress can't get shit done. They think that it's one of the worst things that you can do in Congress is, like, not be able to get shit done. No one cares about the fucking process. Not a single person cares about the process with the exception of Democrats. Okay? Only Democrats care about the process. Only they are like, oh, our institutions need to be strong right now. Like, our institutional legitimacy suffers when people don't follow the process. No one cares about that. Voters on the ground don't care about it. Republicans clearly don't care about it. And the greatest irony is that if you act like you care about the process, like the Democrats do, you ultimately end up losing to the Republicans who literally do not care about the process and undermine the process. So even if you do fucking care about the process, sometimes you got to be a piece of shit. Because Republicans certainly don't. And when you lose out to Republicans, or when you meet them as though they are your equals, when you meet Republicans, and I mean politicians, of course, I don't mean like regular Republicans, you end up undermining our institutions. When Donald Trump won, he fucking crippled our institutions. The institutional legitimacy was thrown out the window. The moment you lose to a Republican, the moment all fucking institutional norms go out the window. So if you truly care about our institutions and maintaining the integrity of our institutions, you sometimes have to be a little bit of a scumfucker. Can you give us an example of Republicans ruining these institutions? That's one. The Amy COVID Barrett proceedings. That's insane. Like literally voting in a Supreme Court pick on a first term when people had already started voting for the next president is completely psychotic. Like, that's insane. Okay? That is absolutely fucking insane. You cannot do that, and they did it. It's a great example of destroying the institutions or destroying our like institutional norms, right? Another one is yeah, and then they went on vacation right after. A violation of the Hatch Act is another great example. Like Fred Flintstone Andy, what the fuck's his face? Not Bill Barr. Oh, that too, actually. Not following on subpoena requests. Not following up on subpoena requests and not appearing in front of Congress when they ask you to because you just don't feel like it. Violating the Hatch Act. Undermining the Postal Service before an election. Offering no hearings to Obama's federal judges. But worst of all, it's already happening right now in front of our eyes. Undermining the integrity of our elections, which are otherwise very transparent. Our elections are super unequal in within the system that we have them, right? Like, The electoral college is a system of inequality that is built in to the structure of our voting system. The Senate is unequal by design. We have gerrymandering to turn what is otherwise supposed to be proportional, like districts in Congress, into an unequal process as well. But that side is unequal, but the transparency around the vote count isn't. That is actually probably one of the most transparent systems in the world, one of the most solid systems in the world as far as like votes goes. Now, Republicans don't give a shit. They fucking lie anyway, and now you have millions of Americans who don't believe that our voting system is actually democratic, and it's literally fucking it's destroying the moral fabric that is supposed to hold everything together. That is basically the greatest example I can give you of like undermining our institutions. So Democrats literally gerrymander too. Look at New Jersey. I didn't even say Republicans do it. Like I didn't specify that Republicans make it unequal. I just said unequal. Why did you have to jump the gun and talk about Democrats? They do it in Maryland as well. But for every fucking two gerrymandered district in like, for every two fucking gerrymandered state for the Democrats, you have every other state that Republicans have fucking completely destroyed. Have you seen Wisconsin? Get the fuck out of here. Using acting secretaries and department heads to go around Senate approval process. Yep. Like Chad Wolf. Yeah. Knowing that you can't get I don't know, one of your cabinet appointees to be approved, you just fucking use you just fucking dance around that. So honestly, you got to give the Zoomies a little bit more background than that about what was going on in 2008. Obama spent political capital on a Senate seat in Mass. He spent hella capital on the banking bailout, which literally started the Tea Party movement. Lol. He was that scumfucker my man Harry Reid wrote the book Mitch McConnell is using. I don't know, you shit on Frontline or PBS, but chat, watch them from the Obama years and you'll see. I don't know about gerrymandering in New Jersey. Anyway, yeah, asking Ukraine to investigate your political opponent while withholding aid, like, what hasn't Donald Trump done? If you truly fucking care about the institutions and their integrity and their legitimacy, you got to make sure you fucking win, brother. And because when you lose, Republicans don't give a fuck about institutional integrity. They will do whatever the fuck they want. So that's my take on the two-party duopoly we have and why Democrats lose all the time, because they are so risk averse and so bad at like reading the fucking room and don't actually do what it takes to fucking win. And what they have to do. Republicans, on the other hand, do not give a single fuck about unity. They literally rely on division. That's how they fucking win.
Question for you, Mr. President. So, Rudy's doing well. I just spoke to him. He's doing very well. No temperature, and he actually called me early this morning. It was the first call I got. Now he's doing very well. Another champion. Greatest mayor in the history of New York, and what he's doing now is more important. And he will admit that. He was the greatest mayor. Did a fantastic job, especially when you see what's going on nowadays, Dan. Rudy Giuliani was a great mayor, and what he's doing now, and he will say it is even more important.
A week from now, Mr. President, the electors will need to cast their vote. There's not a lot of time between now and then to make your case to overturn the vote. At this point, are you looking to change the outcome of the election or tried to make a case to the American people that it wasn't fair?
Well, I think the case has already been made if you look at the polls. It was a rigged election. You look at the different states, the election was totally rigged. It's a disgrace to our country. It's like a third world country. These ballots pouring in from everywhere, using machinery that nobody knows ownership, nobody knows anything about. They have glitches, as they call them, glitches. The glitches weren't glitches. They got caught sending out thousands of votes, all against me, by the way. You know, this was like from a third world nation, and I think the case has been made, and now we find out what we can do about it. But you'll see a lot of big things happening over the next couple of days. And very importantly, we're here for a different reason. We're here to present our highest award, our highest achievement, really, something that really speaks to such incredible achievement to a man who really is a great man and a great figure in sports.
I mean, America is a third world nation if we're going to use those terms. Like, it literally is a third world nation with a Gucci belt. Like, and, you know, he is partially responsible for that. Like, the reason why we are like that is because of him. Like, and those that came before him. I can't, you know, I can't say the entirety of the blame is on his hands. You know, but he's a big part of it.
Not just wrestling, in sports. One of our greatest athletes of all time, and I just want to say it's an honor to be with you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Another clip from the ceremony.
Consecutive match. He won 117 consecutive matches and lost only one. Well, you know, in politics, I won 2. So I'm 2-0.
No, you're not. Even the fucking kids in that room know you're not. Oh God, it's so stupid, man. The worst part about it is, again, I think in the past couple of days I've been getting really angry. And I think the reason why I've been getting really angry, I've been thinking about it. I'm like, partially because I'm overworked and losing my mind a little bit. But the other reason why I've been getting so fucking mad is like, it causes blind rage within me to create this fucking false reality, and for liberals and so many other people to like act like these people that are living in a complete fabricated delusional reality that like we have to act like they're our peers and that we have to take them seriously just by virtue of them having this opinion, like that every single opinion is just, you know, it needs to be babied, it needs to be coddled, and it needs to be taken seriously. And it really frustrates me. Like, what are we doing? What kind of fucking postmodern hell are we living in? That where, like, people that have just crazy fucking takes, we have to just sit there and be like, oh yeah, well, I guess we have to take you seriously just by virtue of you being a human being with the you know, with processing power enough to like come up with such a unique thought. Every thought is unique and needs to be celebrated. It's like, no. It's nuts. It's fucking nuts. And the worst part about it is causing us. What is this? I have some strong opinions on Breonna Joy Gray and her specific brand of advocacy on the left. That is, she platforms the biggest pro-Trump. She's the platform's biggest pro-Trump leftist. I'd appreciate sharing this around. Truly a cringe political post by cringe political post. Yeah, I don't fucking care about all these people that like love to dunk on Breonna Joy Gray. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, where was I? Oh, like these Republicans have made their own audience dumber on purpose. Right? Like they've created a system in which like they are constantly conditioning their fucking their voters to be dumber. And as a consequence of that, they can get away with more and more insane nonsense. Like the Tea Party had to be sold on the grounds that it was like you know, deregulation, or it was like a libertarian POV, and like that was fucking nuts, but there was a lot of money behind it, and it was AstroTurf, And now we've gotten the QAnon. Like, we took the Tea Party seriously, and now they have the Freedom Caucus in the House, which is a bunch of psychos. But now we have to take these fucking, like, QAnon psychopaths seriously. And it is mind-boggling. It's so frustrating that, like, I have to sit here and listen to a psychopathic person and their drivel. It makes me sick to my fucking core that it's not even just like us laughing at how weird these hogs are, but it's like so many people have to like tolerate it. Like this is becoming a part of political discourse. It's angering that we have to act like this is normal. Yeah, exactly. Like it's very, very frustrating. It's very frustrating. All ideologies are realities. These people are trapped by decades of propaganda and psyops. We should feel pretty bad for them. Their subjective experience must be terrifying. Instead of shitting on them, what's the positive communist project that has the signifiers that cuts through their thick bullshit? Like, it's a moment of weakness. It's certainly a moment of weakness for me. I admit that. Like, we should be nicer to the fucking hogs, for sure. It's a moment of weakness for me whenever I lose it and I start fucking yelling. Okay? Because no matter what, if you're a good person, if you're a kind person, if you believe in justice and equality for all, then you have to fucking cast aside, constantly turn the other cheek, and cast aside your differences and focus on the similarities, because ultimately everybody, but when their head hits the pillow at night, everyone has the same fears, okay? Everyone has similar interests. Now those, obviously, we're talking about it on a class basis. Like, everyone that technically works has similar fucking interests that align with one another oftentimes, okay? So that's something that, do we though? Yes, we do. We do. No matter how fucking dumb or delusional some fucking West Virginia voter is, the reason why the West Virginia voter doesn't have a fucking tooth left in his mouth is because of the same material realities that they've been subjected to, that some of us have been able to at least get a better bargain out of, but are still subjected to. The same economic organization that oppresses that fucking dude in Appalachia that has to have, like, you know, an NGO, like a European NGO, come in and fucking helicopter in help, is a product of the same system that oppresses you in your fucking dead-end retail job that you fucking absolutely despise. Okay? And we all have privileged blind spots. We all do. All of us. And we're all complex. It's just really frustrating when I see these demons, these Republican demons, so willingly and so deliberately fucking misinform their base of support, and then their base of support fucking turns around and repeats the propaganda that have been fucking beamed in the back of their domes, as though it's the gospel, as though it's the fucking truth, and they're so misguided. I feel terrible. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating to live in this reality. Is any of it true? No, there is no, the vote wasn't stolen from Donald Trump, and Democrats aren't running alongside the deep state a psychic pedophile vampire ring, dude. No. We have to reach across the aisle and show compassion to these people. Fuck the fuck off. The problem is, I'm not talking about professional Republicans. I used to say this all the time. We're not reaching across the aisle to the professional Republicans. Like, those guys are the ones who are creating the misinformation. I'm talking about the fucking voters. You have to win them. Like, at a certain point, you have to either activate the non-voters or slowly but surely change the opinions of the voters. That's just how it works. Okay? Because not every fucking Republican is like a delusional, psychopathic racist. A lot of them are absolutely just brainwashed. I have a hard time with it too. A lot of these hogs are my friends and family, and they aren't going to change their minds anytime soon. Yeah. All you can do is keep trying, man. All you can do is just keep trying. You have nothing else. The most progressive politician in New Zealand, Chloe Swarbrick, wants to play in the next Political Among Us event. Please tweet at her. Wait, I think she tweeted at me before. Sounded like Joe Biden, my man, unite. No, when Joe Biden says unite, he's talking about a delusional thing. He's talking about uniting the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. I'm not saying that. I've never said that. I'm saying rip these fucking voters away from the Republicans who are fucking them over, okay? By advocating for progressive causes, that economic progress and economic equality that these people also desperately need on the Republican side. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying live in this delusional worldview where you've like, we're going to reach across the aisle to the fucking Republican psychos that have also advocated for Donald Trump's agenda 90% of the way. I'm not saying that at all. Fuck those people. Politicians are demons, okay? That's not what I'm talking about. Fuck the politicians. I'm talking about the people. And fuck anyone that tells you that, like, we got to work with Republican politicians. No. You have the people, okay? What you need to do is activate the people. If it were up to the Republican politicians, the $15 minimum wage would have never fucking passed in the state of Florida. But it did because the people fucking won that day. Because organizers on the ground put that shit on the ballot, like the DSA, for example. They put that on the ballot. And the people voted for it ultimately. Okay? That's it. I absolutely see why it's so fucking frustrating. I'm not downing on what you do at all, but Lenin won the military peasants in power with bread and peace. Upper just won with dignity. I don't have any great answers, but I feel like we have to paint that hopeful picture of the day after revolution in a new way. I mean, I don't. Fake votes coming is on. It's over, isn't it? I thought the election is over. I lost. I lost to Valkyrie too. Not only did I lose to 13 minutes remaining, but not only did I lose to Nick Merckx, I also lost to Valkyrie as well in the last second. She has simps that are way... She has like actual simps. Joe Biden says we need to put aside our differences. We're saying to improve our messaging so that people can see the policies that would have real positive impact on our lives. Yeah. Anyway.
And that's pretty good too. But we'll see how that turns out. He won 117 consecutive matches and lost only one. Well, you know, in politics, I won 2, so I'm 2-0. And that's pretty good too. But we'll see how that turns out.
I have friends who were logical and decided to ghost them for a year to focus on myself. When I go back in touch with them, they turn to crazy, viewing QAnon and NoFap. Yeah, I don't know how to fucking... He makes giving someone an award about him. I had a kid my age arguing that oil was an infinite resource because he was trying to shit on windmills and backed himself into a corner. It's bad. The kid is 23 and sounds like a 60-year-old oil tycoon because he's straight vomiting talking points and is too stupid to understand what he's actually arguing. Yeah, but that's propaganda. And it's good propaganda. It's propaganda that has worked. Oh my God. The Michigan Secretary of State is being harassed by armed Trump supporters at her own home.
House.
This is actually something I was going to talk about with Georgia as well.
And the steal. Stop 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 the steal. You're a threat to democracy. You're a threat to free and honest elections.
More like call the police. The police are already at her house. Everywhere around the country, secretaries of state and numerous officials that have worked on these sorts of campaigns, all the way from public profile individuals like that Republican dude in Georgia, all the way down to even contracted employees that work for Dominion on the recount process, have been harassed, have had people dox them, have their email and information released, have their wives get fucking like sexually explicit threats in their phones. They have gone buck wild, and this is happening all around the country. The reason why I'm mentioning Georgia specifically is because the dude in Georgia that had that, like, you know, viral moment. Here, I'll just show you that. The one who's like in charge of voting, vote counts. Here. Gabriel Sterling. He's a voting systems official in Georgia who at a press conference was finally like, it's time to move on. Like, you guys are being crazy. And I listened to him talk on the Daily. And he was basically talking about how, like, a person that we basically hired as a contracted worker was doing their job and making sure that all the ballots were being recounted perfectly. And they said that he was scary. They figured out who he was. They said that he looked suspicious. They figured out what his name was, and he had apparently a unique name. And now their entire family is getting death threats. And after that, he was like, enough is enough. You're stoking fear and anger among your supporters, and your statements are false. You have to do something about it. Yeah, Mayor Garcetti is on a totally different level there too. Like, it's crazy, dude. Here, we'll watch the entire video.
It has all gone too far. All of it. Joe DeGenova today asked for Chris Krebs, a patriot who ran CISA, to be shot. A 20-something tech in Gwinnett County today has death threats and a noose put out saying he should be hung for treason because he was transferring a report on batches from an EMS to a county computer so he could read it. It has to stop.
And this is where this is a two-parter here. One, this is what I mean when I say I'm so frustrated because, like, they think their false reality is so real because they've been so brain poisoned that they think their cause is honorable. Like, they literally think they are doing the right thing, but they're so stupid that how are you going to explain to people that, like, what they are seeing in front of their eyes is not voter fraud, it's just how fucking votes are actually counted. And you can't just fucking watch a Newsmax article or a Newsmax report that shows you, like, camera footage of votes being counted and then fixed and then recounted. But as long as there's a black lady doing it, like, maybe there's some fuckery going on. You can't just run off that suspicion and then act on it in a violent way. You can't fucking do that. Like, this is what I'm talking about when I say, like, we can't take these people's, like, we can't act like these people have a legitimate opinion. It is so insane, dude. That guy's a Republican. He voted for Donald Trump twice, motherfucker. He voted for Donald Trump. By the way, that guy voted for Donald Trump in 2016 and voted again for Donald Trump in 2020.
Mr. President, you have not condemned these actions or this language. Senators?
Republican, yeah, okay. Brother, are you fucking stupid? It's the state of Georgia. Like, nearly every part of the elections process in the state of Georgia is notoriously handled by Republicans. You're talking about a Secretary of State. You're talking about a governor that's Republican, Brian Kemp, that Donald Trump himself personally fucking advocated for. You're talking about a Secretary of State that handles this entire fucking process. These are all Republicans, man. They're all not only Republicans, but they're Trump's very own Republicans who voted for Donald Trump, dude.
You have not condemned this language or these actions. This has to stop.
Like, the Dominion voting software in both the state of Georgia and in Pennsylvania literally shows that Donald Trump won 55% of the fucking counties. Like, he won a majority of the counties where Dominion was working. Like, why would it, what kind of a fucking system is this where, like, it ends up creating such complicated math that, like, it literally allows Donald Trump to win all the fucking counties that he was supposed to win, and Joe Biden to win all the counties that he was supposed to win, but then and have Donald Trump win the counties, like win more of the fucking counties, but then still end up like changing it in the outset, like massaging the numbers so that, like, you know, the down ballot races are still given to the Republicans. There's literally a state house rep here in Georgia who is a Democrat, but he keeps saying Trump actually won and he's a Democrat. No, that guy is a grifter. You're talking about the black dude, right? Yeah, he's like literally always with Lynn Wood and Sidney Powell. He's completely fucking, yeah, Vernon Jones. Like, he's a massive grifter, dude. He's not like, no one thinks he's a fucking actual Democrat.
We need you to step up, and if you're going to take
this argument does not convince any Republicans. Of course, they're going to think, yeah, but because they're stupid, brother. That's the point. Okay? Hello? That's literally what I'm trying to say. Like, you can't convince a stupid person. Okay? You can't beat a pigeon in chess. Okay? You just can't. What's a pigeon going to do? It's going to be a fucking pigeon. He's going to fuck the board up. That's not how this works. Like, what you are expecting me to do is basically be able to fucking convince people that are impossible to convince because they already have their biases and they have fucking years and years of social conditioning that has very carefully and very handily, they've very carefully and very handily worked off of those pre-existing biases that they have, they've been nurtured into believing, that then has gone to an uncontrollable fucking place where they now believe in QAnon shit. Like, it's over. Like, there's no way. You just can't save that person. Like, you can try, and you should always try. But it's good luck. Oh my God, I want to ban every vegan. Birds are actually very intelligent. You could probably train to play a pigeon, play chess for treats. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. You talking about mostly white people? No, I mean, the majority are white for sure because it's the Republican Party. But no, there's like fucking black and brown people in this base too. It's a smaller percentage, but still, they are being targeted too as well. Black and brown people are just as likely to be conservative and believe in like white supremacist idealism that's coded and baked into all of our institutions as white people are. Like, that's why when you fucking when you do dog whistle politics for a lot of black people, like they still, you see them fucking vote for Donald Trump.
Take a position of leadership, show some. My boss, Secretary Raffensperger, his address is out there. They have people doing caravans in front of their house. They've had people come onto their property. Trisha, his wife of 40 years, is getting sexualized threats through her cell phone. It has to stop. This is elections. This is the backbone of democracy, and all of you who have not said a damn word are complicit in this. I can't begin to explain the level of anger I have right now over this. And every American, every Georgian, Republican and Democrat alike should have that same level of anger. Mr. President, it looks like you likely lost the state of Georgia. We're investigating. There's always a possibility. I get it. And you have the rights to go through the courts. What you don't have the ability to do, and you need to step up and say this, is stop inspiring people to commit potential acts of violence. Someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get shot. Someone's going to get killed. And it's not right.
You aren't a good socialist when you talk about this. You won't bring about class consciousness if you keep writing off chuds not being able to change. They too can commit to a vegan lifestyle if you educate them well enough. Oh my God. Are you doing this on purpose? Are you trying to look as unlikable as possible, dude? Stop. I feel like there's like Carney Agitprop over here literally trying to fucking make vegans look like delusional weirdos, so I'm not going to take it seriously. That's not what this conversation is about. Vegans, you're morally right. Please stop talking.
There are not.
A bipartisan group of lawmakers worked through the weekend to nail down a COVID-19 relief bill, but as it looks now, they are going to miss their first deadline. The goal was to have language drafted for a $908 billion package by the end of today. But there are two major sticking points: liability protection for businesses, along with funding for cities and states. The negotiations so far are bipartisan, but there's one major Democrat, progressive Bernie Sanders, who is not on board. He vowed to vote no unless there are changes. Quote, "We've got to make sure that every word..."
Top of the hour, every hour, we have a 60-second ad break. I'm going to run the ad right now, but if you would like an ad-free broadcasting experience, all you need to do is subscribe. You can subscribe for $5, or you can subscribe for free by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You can use anyone else's Amazon in your vicinity, of course, like your parents or whatever, and connect it to your own personal Twitch account. This way you get one free Twitch Prime that you can use on your favorite streamer, if it's myself. Here's the ad.
Working class American receives at least $1,200 in direct payments, and that we do not provide a liability shield to corporations who break the law. Joining me now, Politico senior Washington correspondent Anna Palmer and New York Times opinion writer Elizabeth Brunig. Anna, first, where do we stand with the COVID relief talks?
Well, once again, Congress is punting. There was an expectation that they needed to get something done by the end of this week. They have now said they're going to do a 1-week stopgap bill. So they're going to give themselves a little bit of extra time. No shocker for those of us who've been covering Congress for a long time. They like to go up to this Christmas deadline to try to get big things done. I do think the big sticking point is going to be this direct payment issue. It's not just Bernie Sanders. We actually have a story up saying that Senator Josh Hawley, the Republican, has talked to the president and said if there are not direct payments in the bill, that the president should veto it. So there are still quite a few things to get done. It does seem like the odds are better than it was a couple of weeks ago, but we're still quite a ways away.
Anna, this is a lot less than what the Democrats had wanted. It's $908. Democrats were floating, I believe it was around the $3 trillion mark. You remind me because so much time has passed that my brain seems a bit foggy on these numbers. But why are the Democrats so willing to make severe compromises or large compromises to get this done now when they weren't before?
The Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, really held the line, and I think there's been some criticism of her decision-making in this factor for the last 6 months to say, we're not going to do it unless there is this really big package. At this time, though, you're starting to see it.
No, that's Elizabeth Brunig, and no, she's not at Osita's place. It just looks like the same background.
Come into play, and I think that they believe there will be opportunities.
She's married to Matt Brunig. They're both great.
For potentially another bite at the apple, and frankly that Americans really need this help. They need this funding. There's a lot of programs that are going to expire that, it isn't like Congress. Sometimes you're talking about trillions of dollars and it's very abstract. This is about whether people can put food on their table and pay their rent. And I think when you have members of Congress going back home for the holidays, puts it into real focus.
How do progressives feel about this, Elizabeth? Because there's been a lot of talk that the Democratic Party is going to see a fracturing between the progressive left and the more moderate wing of the Democratic Party, and we're starting to see it here with these negotiations. And I know Anna just mentioned Josh Hawley, but people like Bernie Sanders drawing a line in the sand, saying this stimulus money is absolutely needed, and if it's not a part of any relief bill, I'm going to say no.
I think Bernie is exactly right on that. I think that there is plenty to criticize Nancy Pelosi on, but the handling of the stimulus issue has been an extraordinary disgrace for the Democrats, calling the $1.8 trillion proposal that had been on the table during the election half a loaf, and then settling for a quarter of a loaf. It seems bizarre, and I think a lot of people are not wrong in saying that her calculation was along the lines of if he sends more checks out with his name on them, as she did, that Trump would have had some kind of boost in the election. I realize that was a concern for Pelosi, but the fact remains that, as Wolf Blitzer said in October, people can't wait until February, and people can't afford another stimulus bill without direct cash assistance. I've been talking to parents all week, interviewing parents who are struggling. I talked to a young man who's 21 years old. He has 2 children. One is a newborn. He's homeless. He and his wife have no place to live. They have no money. They're on unemployment, and they can't afford Congress to pass another stimulus bill that doesn't have a direct cash assistance. At a minimum, $1,200.
Where do you see the relationship between the progressive wing of the Democratic Party and everybody else come January? Where is it going? Does it?
This argument also, no matter what, though, this argument also leads to, well, Elizabeth, you're wrong, because what Nancy's trying to do is like get them anything. Why make perfect an enemy of the good? This is something that Democrats say all the time. This is like a classic Democratic counter. Well, this isn't good. You're using bad as though it's the only option we have in our hands. And that is very, very frustrating, especially when you consider what the arguments that Democrats themselves made not that long ago. Like, at the heart of Nancy Pelosi's grand bargain here, at the heart of that, what is deeply frustrating is her assumption that, like, well, now that Joe Biden is president, we have a president who believes in science. So now we can get less money in this round and then get more money later down the line, now that we know Joe Biden is going to be president. Okay, but there is still a fucking election. An election that will render Joe Biden's presidency useless. So if you were to stand strong with your $1.8 trillion proposal, or your $2.2 trillion proposal, rather, because of the reality that you didn't know whether Donald Trump was going to win or not, and that's why you need to get as much money as you can out of the Republicans, because who knows when a second stimulus would come, then you should have that exact same argument right now. Because Joe Biden being president is completely meaningless if we don't win the Senate.
Depend great.
Who is this boy on your stream, and where's the bearded Hulk of a man that used to be here? It's gone. He's gone.
Joe Biden.
Bearded Hulk of a man is gone.
It's down in Georgia.
Boy now.
I think it does. A lot rides on how things turn out in Georgia. If those seats both go to Republicans, then Democrats obviously have a much weaker negotiating position, even with the Biden administration. And
is it when we get legal weed and end of daylight saving time? Dude, brother, I'm saying we're talking about stimulus right now. Joe Biden being the president is meaningless if we don't win the Senate. Do you understand? Because Mitch McConnell is not going to fucking concede. Mitch McConnell is not going to ever give anything to the Democrats. It doesn't matter if it's fucking daylight savings time or legalization of weed. Like, you're not getting anything. Okay? You're not getting anything with Mitch McConnell as a majority leader. Hello? With a Republican majority maintaining in the Senate, we're done. Joe Biden will be a fucking one-term president. I mean, he will be a one-term president regardless, but he will definitely be a one-term president. and then Donald Trump will run again, or someone else will run again in 2024.